Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Target. Target is in a crisis right now, aside from all their other problems. They just got hit with their first massive LGBT lawsuit. Insiders, people who work for the company, have been selling off a lot of their stock, and that has investors worried. And it should. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Elon Musk warned all the way back in the beginning of June that class action lawsuits were going to be coming for Target after they lost $15 billion in value. Well, since that time, they're down $14 billion in value, and this is the first major lawsuit they need to deal with. It's not a class action lawsuit. That would make the situation even worse for Target. Let's get into the details. Coming from Fox News, Target hit with shareholder lawsuit after Pride backlash damaged the stock price. Quote, management only cared about whether its leftist stakeholders were satisfied, America First Legal said. America First Legal filed a shareholder lawsuit against Target on Tuesday in response to the retailer's Pride merchandise that resulted in significant backlash, boycotts, and a drop in the stock price. Target locations across the country famously stunned customers in May when massive June Pride Month displays were unveiled featuring everything from female-style swimsuits that can be used to tuck male genitalia to mugs that said gender fluid. The polarizing Pride merchandise also included onesies and rompers for newborn babies, a variety of adult clothing with slogans such as, quote, super queer, party supplies, home decor, multiple books, and a grow at your own pace saucer planter. Many customers were outraged, and boycotts caused a variety of banks to downgrade Target's stock. Target's market value was over $74 billion before the Pride displays made national news, as tracked by Dow Jones Market Data Group. As of Wednesday, Target's value is around $60 billion, still down $14 billion. Let's get into the actual release from America First Legal. Today, America First Legal, with co-counsel Boynton Gray and Lawson Huck Gonzalez, sued Target Corporation and its board of directors on behalf of Brian Craig, a Target shareholder, for betraying Target's customers and shareholders with misleading representations about its environmental, social, and governance and diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates, and for causing Target shareholders to lose billions of dollars. In its 2022 and 2023 proxy statements, Target assured shareholders those proxy statements are guarantees from the board of directors that this is true information. You're supposed to be able to read proxy statements from the company and assume that everything in there is accurate and true. Because, of course, you don't know the company. You have to rely on the information that the company gives you. However, management only cared whether its leftist stakeholders were satisfied, disregarding the possibility that its customers and shareholders might feel differently. Thus, in May 2023, Target embraced the radical transgender agenda with its children and family-themed Pride merchandise, marketing, and sales campaign. The corporation's infamous Pride collection included clothing for young children with rainbow Mickey Mouse symbols, LGBT-themed bibs and onesies for babies, and tuck-friendly bathing suits for transgender women. This predictably caused more than a $12 billion collapse in share value, the largest stock price decline in over 20 years. This is not the first time Target's management has used shareholder funds to virtue signal to leftist extremists, heedless of the consequences for the corporation's brand, customers, and shareholders. For example, after the North Carolina legislature adopted a law in 2016 to keep biological men out of bathrooms used by women and girls, Target released a Pride manifesto and welcomed its employees and shoppers to use restrooms and fitting rooms, quote, corresponding to their gender identities. After a massive backlash, CEO Brian Cornell reportedly admitted to Target staff that Target didn't adequately assess the risk and that the ensuing backlash was self-inflicted, but instead of apologizing, publicly defended the decision. Quote, we took a stance and we're going to continue to embrace our belief of diversity and inclusion, just how important that is to our company. Also, Target's management has adopted supplier diversity targets including a majority of collections to be made by LGBT creators and brands in 2022, and engaged in the odious and illegal practice of race-based hiring by adopting a plan to increase its, quote, representation of Black team members across the company by 20%. Target's management has misled investors, assuring them that the corporation oversees social and political issues and risks to protect shareholders when behind closed doors, it works for the extremist hard-left stakeholders at the expense of its customers and shareholders. For far too long, large corporations have recklessly pandered to the left and bent the knee to serve the woke elites. Today, however, America First Legal says enough is enough. And here's a statement from Gene Hamilton, America First Legal Vice President and General Counsel. Quote, federal law requires publicly traded corporations to provide certain information to shareholders in their proxy statements that allow those shareholders to make informed decisions. As alleged in our complaint, Target failed to execute its duty to shareholders by making statements that led them to believe that political and social risks were being assessed, when in reality, the only thing Target's board and management cared about was how effectively they fulfilled the desires of various metrics advanced by left-wing stakeholders. In so doing, they caused our client to lose a substantial amount of money, and we will vindicate his rights in federal court, said Gene Hamilton. It looks like he lost around $6,000 as a result of the woke agenda being pushed by Target and its board of directors. This is from Simply Wall Street. Possible bearish signals with Target insiders disposing of stock. Bearish refers to an indication that the stock price might go down. Right now, the stock price is $130. The stock price is still down severely from before the Target Pride Month push. They're down $14 billion still to date. You would think if it wasn't related to the boycott, it would have come back by now. At least some percentage of it would. But in the meantime, some of the people that actually work for Target that do have stock have been selling. And this is the kind of thing that investors watch out for. If insiders are selling, people who know inside information about the company, it's not usually a great indication that the company is doing well and that its stock is going to do well. Over the past year, many Target Corporation insiders sold a significant stake in the company, which may have piqued investors' interest. When analyzing insider transactions, it's usually more valuable to know whether insiders are buying versus knowing if they are selling, as the latter sends an ambiguous message. However, if numerous insiders are selling, shareholders should investigate more. While we would never suggest that investors should base their decisions solely on what the directors of a company have been doing, we do think it's perfectly logical to keep tabs on what insiders are doing. Over the last year, we could see the biggest insider sale was by the executive vice president, Don Liu, for over $2 million worth of shares at around $167 per share. So Don Liu was able to sell at $167. Today's price is about $130. That's good for Don Liu. That's not good for the people who bought it from Don for $167. In the last year, Target insiders didn't buy any company stock. You can see a visual depiction of insider transactions by companies and individuals over the last 12 months below. If you click on the chart, you can see all individual transactions, including the share price. Sell, sell, sell. Okay, this is why people pay attention to this. Because if an insider is buying the stock, obviously they think it's going to go up and the price is good. Target insiders are selling the stock. Over the last 3 months, we've seen significant insider selling at Target. Specifically, Senior Vice President Matthew Legal ditched $235,000 worth of shares in that time, and we didn't record any purchases whatsoever. In light of this, it's hard to argue that all the insiders think that the shares are a bargain. So what does all this data suggest about Target's share price and its insiders? And insiders sold Target shares recently, but they didn't buy any. And even if we look at the last year, we didn't see any purchases. The company boasts high insider ownership, but we're a little hesitant given the history of share sales. While we like knowing what's going on with the insiders' ownership and transactions, we make sure to also consider what risks are facing a stock before making any investment decisions. They also indicated 3 warning signs for Target, and here's their 3 warning signs. They have a high level of debt at Target. The dividend rate of 3.36% is not well covered, which means it may be a little difficult for them to pay their full dividend as promised. Their profit margin is 2.5% of sales, which is lower than last year's 5.5%. The profit margin is the percentage multiplied by the total sales as to what their actual profit is. So their profit will be cut by more than half from the year before. That's a lot of drop in terms of profit. Target is a company that has a lot of problems right now. It's not just the Pride Month stuff. They've also lost at least $1 billion to theft. They're dealing with their customer base, a lot of millennials, having to start to pay back their student loans finally. And when they're paying off their student loans, they can't go splurge at Target the way they used to. Target's also focused on a lot of discretionary merchandise, meaning it's stuff that's fun, but it's not necessarily a necessity. Walmart, on the other hand, focuses a lot on necessities and tends to have even lower prices than Target. So in a tough economy, in an economy where inflation is going up again, in an economy where many of your customers are having to go back and start paying their student loans again, it's not good for Target. Of course, the lawsuit doesn't help any. The publicity is bad for them. And this is not yet a class action suit, but could easily develop into a situation where other people jump on and say, hey, wait a minute, I lost millions with Target. Let me sue you too. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.